What's good, everybody? What's good? Ooh. Sorry, I'm now adjusting my mic while I've unmuted it, so if it's super noisy, then you know why. It's because I made a decision. What's going on, Mike? What's up, Bar? What are my predictions for the races? I don't even know what to expect. I don't even know who's in the races. I saw the announcement section, but I didn't look anywhere else. Again, I'd be scared of spoilers, so like I am very rarely in your server, Bar, because I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to get a hint. I don't want anybody to be like, oh man, I wish I hadn't crashed into that wall randomly. So point me to the safe places, because I don't even know what the grid is. Actually, we should probably... I've been out of town. I've been super busy, and I have a lot of content and stuff to go through for my event that I just put on and my friend's event that I went to. So I did not ping you, but we should probably get together to put together like a graphic for the championship standings and all that stuff. Actually, I'm sure you've probably already got the standings up, and I just need to save them and show them. Anyway, my bad. I did, however, find the races. Pretty lucky there. Because the activity feed only goes back so far. I think it went back to like the beginning of yesterday for me. My friends share a lot of activity, but I decided I was going to go through my friends list which is in no kind of fucking order that anybody can understand in Gran Turismo Sport, and I happened to find your name bar, and I went to your gallery, so got pretty lucky there. Let's see, what do we got? So we have 2 races. That is the format for each round. One 30-minute race, and that has a pit stop and a tire change required. What are the tires, by the way? I believe you said everyone wanted racing softs, which ew, these are street cars, and at no point on anywhere on the planet would you have as sticky as a soft tire as we have in this game. Even if you put it on slicks, it'd be a pretty hard tire compound. You know, the Hankooks and the Bridgestone girls do put together tires for track days, but they're nothing like the racing softs we have in this game. But I'm not racing. I don't make the championship, so I don't make the rules. But if I was, y'all would have to race on street tires. Super softs at best, and if you complain about it, then you can leave, because my championship is for actual drivers. Right in the mic. You gotta eat the mic when you say stuff like that. Alright, now I'm done throwing my shade. I'm gonna throw the shade every week. Every week. But I get the appeal. Of the racing softs. You can corner faster. Shall we start? I think we should start. I've obviously got round 1 pulled up here. Oh, I didn't finish the explanation. My bad. I was so busy throwing shade, I forgot to explain the rest of it. So 2 races. One it's 30 minutes. It does require a pit stop and a tire change. I know we had racing softs. What is the other tire that they're changing to, bar? Tell me that. The second race is only 20 minutes, and it's a sprint race. So no tire change, no pit stop, just go straight through, which is easy enough, right? And one moment. I had tire wear and stuff pulled up here. There is tire and fuel. Tire wear is 3x. Fuel consumption is at 2x. And to be fair, I don't think I have any experience with street cars and having fuel consumption on, so I don't even know where they sit when you have fuel at 2x. So that'll be interesting to see, just to see, like, okay, how much do these cars use? I'm assuming they sip on it, but I don't know if they have as big a digital tank as the race cars. So we're gonna find out. Just one tire, I have to get a fresh set. Oh, okay, I see. So, hi EA Sports, how to join. Bar can let you know how to join the championship, as it is his championship. He is our fearless leader. But today, there's nothing to join. I'm commentating on a race that's already been recorded, so you won't be able to race. But, alright, cool. So, racing softs all the way, but you do have to change for a fresh set of tires at some point. Okay, got it. I think we can do this now. Oh no. My controller is not. Oh. Sometimes when you want to use your controller, you have to turn it on. Sometimes. And we'll wait for this to load. Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST. Yes. Oh, I don't think you can share links. If you want to share a link to the Discord, let me see how to allow that. I know there's a code to allow that, or a command, which allow users to share link. I want to allow an individual user to share a link in my chat. Come on, Google. Tell me more. I think they might have taken that away. To be honest, it never worked consistently anyway. Um, Hang on, let's get this thing to pause when it gives us a chance. And we'll talk a little bit more about this championship situation. I wanted to be able to pause on the grid, but unfortunately it doesn't let you do that. However, we can look at everybody here. This is our grid. And Bar, if you'd like, let me share a link to the Discord. I should be able to create an invite link, right? Since I'm in there. Okay, cool. No, Lightroom, move. I will finish sorting through the pictures later. Stop guilting me. Y'all, I got 3,000 photos to sort through. 3,000. The good news about that is that I'm incredibly rusty at photography in general. Definitely rusty on motorsport photography. I was on the track, so a lot of these photos are not good. So it'll be easy to just get rid of them and be done with it. Alright, EA Sports, that's the link to Bar's Discord channel for GTRC, this championship. Got that done. Finally. Let's take a look at our grid. So, 9 players, 9 racers, all in the same car. This is a spec series using N400 cars. Every race will have a different car, from what I recall. Bar, tell me if I'm wrong about that. But I believe that's what you had mentioned to me as far as the plans for the championship. If not, and everyone just stays in the 991 GT3 RS, awesome. We have 2 of these cars in the game. We have both the 991 generation and the 997, I believe. So 2 different chassis, but this is a spec race specifically for the 991 generation of the GT3 RS. My favorite generation of the 911 GT3 RS. I will absolutely own one day, and I can't wait. I love it in this game. But I don't race it that much because it's such a cheater car. It's so good. It's so good that it's like, okay, come on. Don't cheat. Oh, I didn't mean to get out of that. Let's talk about who we've got. We've got a lot of people who returned from last season. Hair Razor, Doug Barrow, Superboy, Bar, of course, our leader. I don't know who this is. YZFR. Not sure how to say their name. I'll call him YZFR, maybe 750. We'll see. GRT, Jack Mia, also new to the championship. Happy Pappy was in a few races last season. Rasta Business, also new, and SPG Type R was in the races last season. So awesome. So you got 2 potentially new drivers. Okay, it's going to be 1 car for the whole championship. That works. I think having 1 car is cool because it gives all the drivers a chance to get really acquainted with that car over the course of a season, right? And so it's nice to see the progression as people get quicker with the car and get better at making the car do what it's supposed to do. And then you kind of take away the excuse of like, oh, well, I came in 5th in race 4 because, I hate driving the Jag or whatever the car was. So cool. 1 make all the way. I like that. Tap will be at Red Bull Ring, and Dom is healing from injury. Okay, so got some others as well. All right, well, let's see. People have liveries on. I know y'all are eager to see the race, but I'm eager to see people's liveries first. So we do have some custom liveries. Nice Martini livery here. Our number 2 on the grid. I believe this was not Hair Razor, but Doug Barrow, which you can see their names right here. Hair Razor with an Octane livery here. Fuel Your Finance. I like it. I've not heard of this company, but I mean, there's a lot of companies that I've not heard of, right? Rothmans Porsche, going with the classic Rothmans and Porsche partnership here. That is, you know, that's just classic. That's just racing history knowledge right there. And what do we got here? Winding Road Racing. Right. That is Bar. This is your car, right? If I'm not mistaken. That's your team. I'm probably wrong. Let me keep it pushing. What do we got back here? PlayStation. Just a simple, nice livery here by Jack Mia. Got the name right on the back. That's when you have money, right? When you've got money and you just need the one sponsor and you can have a livery that's that's like super simple. Got a couple dragons here. They look familiar, actually. I don't know what those are from, but yeah. You with the Rothman. Got it. Doug is the Martini. Octane is Doug. Martini Razor, rather. Jack is getting a new livery. Okay. Well, Jack, we just heard it. Jack does need more sponsors, and we'll be taking on more stickers on this livery. Duckham's. Duckhams? I don't know how to pronounce that. This is nice. I like this yellow on blue situation here. Let's go a little bit quicker here. And then we've got a Kappa livery. Yo. Kappa tearaway pants. I used to want those so bad in middle school in the 90s. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I don't even know what's going on here. We got a lot going on here. Uma Musume? What is that? Is this, I don't know what that is. But I really like this livery. It's pretty intricate. I like the design. That's really dope, actually. Loving it. And then we got Caterpillar. Huh. Caterpillar sponsoring Porsche. I'm into it, honestly. And considering that Porsche does a lot of engineering and consulting for all sorts of companies, it actually wouldn't surprise me if Caterpillar has reached out to Porsche for some information, for some testing or something like that. All right, y'all. That was it. That's a look at our grid. Let's go ahead and get started with this race here. It's a standing start, as you can see. So, gonna be pretty cool to see this run up to turn 1. Ooh, can we go faster? Can we go faster? No, we can't. So we're not walking all the way over there. But you can see turn 1 is a 90-degree left-hand turn. Technically, you can fit 3 cars and go 3 wide into it, but boy, when I tell you, you don't want to. So it's gonna be interesting to see this start. Everyone should have the same start, a very good one. In fact, these cars are rear engine, so you got plenty of weight on the rear tires to get you a good standing start. And the Porsches tend to have pretty long first gears anyway and not really blow the tires out in them. And you can hear somebody is on that rev limiter right now because they know it. They know that they're going to get a great start regardless. And we're going to wait for the lights. There we go. Green, green, green. As you see, very little tire smoke from anybody because, again, just a really grippy car up front. And in the back, everyone is through very nicely in turn 1. Ooh, I forgot to make sure that we can see everything. Doug keeps the lead and is going to head into turn 2, followed by Hair Razor, then Bar, who's jumped up to 3rd place here. Turn 2, one of my favorite turns in this corner. Probably because it's one of the hardest ones, and I'm very inconsistent in it. Never get it right. But still a great corner. Doug's going to head up the hill, starting to climb to the mountain into... Why can't I remember the name of any corners right now? I should have looked up the corner names for Bathurst, one of my favorite tracks in the world, and for some reason I'm not getting it. But here we go through Fujitsu, and now going to climb through the parks. McPhillamy Park, I believe, is this section. Then we've got that long sweeping left-hander into Skyways. I think we've lost a few people already. Just not lost, but just a gap already to 5th and back. Can you guys hear the cars okay? I feel like the volume's very low on the actual game. It's probably just me. I'll put the volume up on my headphones, and that should work out for us. But yeah, big gaps already forming between the first through third and Barr in fourth, who's just picked up a penalty. So that gap's going to get even bigger. Well, actually, you probably opted not to take the penalty there, Barr. Ooh, is that going to be more penalty? I don't know. It didn't look like he had all four in the grass, but it was pretty close. Looks like no, got really lucky there. Did not put all four tires in the grass, kept two inside, and so the game is not going to count that as going past the bounds. But that was our first lap at Bathurst. It happens very quickly, even in street cars. It's a very fast track. It's a very high-speed track. As you can see, lots of straights on it, and yet it is also one of the most technical tracks in the world. As you start to climb that mountain, as you get through the S's and start your descent down the mountain, it's a very, very technical track. Turns like this, turn one, where it's so much about keeping your momentum. You're carrying a lot of speed into it, so you do have to slow down. But then, as you can see, it's all uphill from turn one for a very long time, and so keeping your momentum through it is important. And Doug is putting on a clinic here because he's already got quite a gap. The gap from Doug back to Hair Razor is already 1.8 seconds, almost 2 seconds between Doug in that Octane liveried Porsche and Hair Razor in his Martini. Behind, we have Barr and Supra going at it already. Supra is trying to find a way through. Ooh, a little sketchy in the S's. Barr completely into the wall there. Luckily, doesn't lose a whole lot of momentum and only loses one position. What kind of lucky wall hit is that? Wait a minute. Can we talk about for a second how Barr is clearly the universe's favorite? Because you just went straight in the S's, slammed into the wall, and only lost one position and are still on his bumper. I want it to make sense. Because if that was me, I would have spun. I would be backwards. It would just be a mess. Yep. Rear end swung left on him. Oh, it wasn't as big a hit as it looked. Okay, that's why. It looked so much bigger than it was. But Barr not going to be too caught out by that. I think that's going to be something that everybody on the grid is going to have to be careful of with this car, especially in those S's. Again, it is a rear-engined Porsche, and while modern Porsches are very well engineered to help keep that weight in the back where it belongs, really, physics are still going to physics, and having your engine all the way in the booty of the car means that engine is going to want to come to the front if you brake wrong. Barr not only recovers from that crash, however, but takes the position away from Supra. Nice job there before the end of the lap as we head into our final corner here. But the line following is very dense. Barr cannot relax, honestly, especially on a track like this where slipstream is everything, because everyone is within the slipstream of the car behind. So you got Barr, Supra right there in his slip. Supra's got 750 right behind him. And then I think the gap to Rasta is actually still within slipstream. So everybody is really in contention for third place in this line here. It just doesn't seem like it. Jack Mia also in there, following through very cleanly in turn one. I don't think that dirty air will affect these cars too much, but it will have an effect. As you can see, this is the GT3 RS. It's got a big old carbon fiber wing, big splitter up front, and it does rely a little bit on downforce to make its cornering speed, but it is still a street car, so most of that grip is going to be mechanical. So dirty air, not too much of an issue. What have we got here? Doug still way up front. Ooh, out of sorts coming down in the S's. Holds on to it, but does take a 1 second penalty because of that. Again, gonna have to be really careful with the back end of that car as you brake into these S's. It's gonna throw you off. It's easy to get thrown off in them. In fact, I don't think I've ever driven this car around here, and now I wonder how I would prevent that. And I think, honestly, the only thing you can do is to brake in as straight a line as possible. Here's Supra trying to make a move on Bar in the slipstream, going down Conrad straight. Into the kink together, and Bar unfortunately gets a wheel into the grass. That throws him off, touches Supra, but Supra manages to hold on to it while Bar is way out in the cutting there. You know what? We're pausing. I'm able to pause and pull up these corner names because I think I'm wrong. I don't think that's the cutting. I think that's the chase, and it's going to bother me to get it wrong. Let me pull up the track map, and then we're going to go and replay what just happened to Bar because it is very common. I felt that in my soul because it has been me several times on the outside of that kink. I mean, don't get me wrong. Great place to defend because if you're on the outside of the kink, you are on the inside for that corner. However, if you don't have the room or if you don't make that turn okay, because it is very high speed, it becomes hell for you. So anyway, that was Conrad straight, and I was wrong. It's not the cutting. That corner is called the chase. I thought so. That's what I thought. So now that I've gotten that right, I feel better. All right, let's get back to it. Where are my comments at? Can't see you. There you go. You did not get luck that time. Right. You got luck the last time, and I guess it ran out, unfortunately. So here we are from Bar's point of view going down. This is called Conrad Straight. Yes, that is connecting rod straight, and that's because it is so long that if you're gonna lose a connecting rod, it's gonna be here. Now, was there a touch? I don't know if there was a touch there. Let's actually take a look at it from chase cam and see if we can see. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hip check there from Supra. I don't know if that's what threw Bar off, but it's definitely enough. Supra just didn't keep that line as tight as it needed to be. Or maybe Bar, did you run into him? I could see the temptation too, because it's hard to keep that corner there. You might have gone in a little bit on them. You might have, you know. But either way, you are way out of sorts, even at a touch there, because, I mean, look at the speed. You're approaching 165, 170 mile an hour actually in that corner, and any little touch in the grass, anything, is going to completely throw your car off. Supra is actually very lucky to have survived that, but Bar unfortunately ends up way in the sand trap, and is able to drive himself out. I think in real life might have needed a tow out of there, and Bar's going to lose several positions here, ends up in 7th place, and Supra inherits 3rd. So Bar is going to have to deal with, well, let's stop talking about Bar. He's not crashing. Who was that? Who is in yellow? YZFR is in yellow. Approaching our final corner here. Murray's up. Yep. Dips a tire into the grass, and that turns the car around on him while he's in the braking zone. There was nothing he could do right there. Just along for the ride, unfortunately. Look at chase cam. Look at that right rear tire right here. As soon as he starts to brake, he ends up in the grass a little bit. Like 3 inches of tire hit the grass, right? Hits Jack Mia a little bit and just never gets back control of the car. Hits the wall, and you've got some damage there. You see some damage on the front wheel, front left, and front splitter. That's going to affect aerodynamics and handling, at least for a little while. But I believe the damage is not permanent in these races. I believe it is low damage, correct? And that goes away after, I believe, a sector or sector and a half, something like that. But bad luck for 750 there. Has got Type R on his butt now. And our field is starting to spread out a bit. We still got Doug way up front. Still holding on to a little bit of penalty, but that's okay. He can take it slowly. The gap between Doug and Hairraiser is ridiculous. 4.4 seconds between the two of them. Hairraiser's also got a huge gap to Superboy, as we saw, 3-point-something seconds. So 1st through 3rd all completely spread out. Whoa, Supra That's not the line. That's not the line there. Through Reed Park. What happened to Super there? I don't even know how to explain how that happened, to be honest with you. It looks like he just got off the throttle and the car snapped, which is interesting. I've never seen that happen there. Don't know if he maybe also just turned the wheel real hard at the same time. But the rear end came around on him a little bit, put him into the wall. No damage. How lucky is that? And he's got such a huge gap back to Rasta that it's probably not that big a deal. Touching a lot of grass in the S's there. Doesn't seem to bother him too much, but not keeping the line very tight through there. Rasta, meanwhile, having some sort of trouble in the S's. Let's see, comes out of Skyline. Yep, just got out of sorts in the dipper there. I wonder if we can see this clearly. I'm going to show you what I mean by the dipper, and you'll see why that corner is called the dipper. So you come out of the S's here, and then you've got... Let's go so we can see forward. And then you've got one last left-hand corner coming up here, and you see it goes down, and it looks like, ooh, I'm not sure. It looks almost like Rasta oversteered into that final right in the S's a little bit. And yeah, pendulums into the dipper, which is already a corner that it kind of disturbs the car easily, and as you can see, he just keeps on that pendulum. It just continues that pendulum momentum, and now he's facing left instead of straight on where he needs to be to head into Forrest's elbow. I think he managed to avoid the wall okay. Yes, he does. Nice save there on Rasta's part. I think maybe a little scrape on the left, but none too worse for the wear. And as you can see, you've got Jack Mia just behind looking to take advantage of that. Jack Mia goes inside. Nice move just before the elbow and gets through that okay. I actually call that the Falcon elbow because it has had Falcon it's had Falcon advertising there for years, but the real name is Forrest's elbow. I'm guessing that's what it was called before Falcon was the sponsor there. But you may also hear it referred to as the Falcon elbow. They're going to head back down this long back straight, again named Conrod Straight for the hilarious reason that many people blow a connecting rod there. Just at that point, your engine is revved out to the max. It is such a long straight that it's very easy to blow your motor there and throw a rod right on through the block and into the ground. Rasta and Jack Mia heading into turn one together. Barr not too far behind. If you recall, Barr was once battling for third place, and I expect we'll probably be able to get up on these two eventually. Happy Pappy is just racing alone, and Happy, I think Pappy's always in a green livery. I like that. Nothing to see there, but you've got Type R and 750 going at it. In fact, Type R got the position over 750. Not sure when that happened, but if you recall, 750 had a mistake into the final corner a couple laps ago, and has now ended up in last place. Doug, meanwhile, done with the penalty, currently climbing up the mountain, going through the parks into Skyline, is going to head down into the S's here. You can see just how much speed you're carrying into them, and I get the feeling and here's where I get to throw the shade. I think the racing softs are causing too much body roll, too much body movement, and it's making these cars a little bit difficult to get through the S's okay. But you didn't hear it from me, though. You didn't hear it from me. Anyway, Doug gets through there okay. Wasn't the cleanest, but doesn't matter. Look at that gap. Hair razors behind me. You can see on the map on the right. Huge gap between the two of these. Huge gap between Hair Raiser and Supra just behind. Doug's going to break into the chase just fine and come into the last couple of corners of the lap here. They do have to take a pit stop, if you recall, at some point in the race. It's a 30-minute race, this first one. We're 10 minutes in, a little over 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes in, actually. And we're about to start lap 6. So I expect to see pit stops maybe in the next 5 minutes or so as these tires wear down. They're not going to wear down too much, though. But we can see Doug, you can see some wear on the tires in the bottom left here. That little bit of red that you see at the top indicates how much those tires have worn. And that's where we are 5 laps into this. You know what? Let's start this lap over. Let's do a ride along. Start finish straight right here and hard on the brakes for the first turn. Again, this is the 90-degree turn. It's called Hell Corner because it's hell at the start of the race. And here we are at Mountain Straight. It's the first straight. It's a very long one, as you can see. Great place to catch a slipstream. It's why you want to make sure you get Hell Corner right, so that you can take a slipstream from someone into this second turn here called Quarry Corner. Again, it's one of my favorite turns in this track because I'm very inconsistent. I find that I love the corners that I have trouble with. And this sharp left-handed corner here is called the Cutting. It's another great corner. It's pretty hard to get exactly perfect. After the Cutting, you head up into the parks. That's Reed Park, now Solomon Park. And then beyond Solomon Park is McPhillamy Park right here, this little corner. And then this left-hander is called Skyways. You can't see it because the wall is tall, but to the left, you basically just see the sky. That's why. And now begins the descent down the mountain into the S's. As you can see, again, Doug having trouble keeping that rear end completely straight on the Porsche going through the S's, but he made it happen. Worked through the Dipper and now into the Falcon Elbow. You're almost at the end of the lap here. Falcon is so important to get right as you head into Conrad Straight. This is where you will hit the fastest speeds on the track, and if you get the elbow wrong, you're going to get wiped over here because anyone behind you is going to be in your slipstream in a second, and you're going to lose the slipstream to the car ahead of you. In the middle of Conrad, not the middle, towards the end, is this bend that doesn't have a name, that kink that we just went through, but this corner right here is called the Chase. I don't know why it's called the Chase, but very difficult to get right because you're going so fast. You don't want to mess it up. And here we are, the final corner, Murray's Corner, to head into pit straight and start all over again at the start-finish line. That's a lap around Bathurst. Very quick. In these cars, we're pulling a 2:08 time on these street cars on Racing Softs. And if you are on a GT3 car, the absolute fastest GT3 GR3 rather is what we call it in this game. The fastest GR3 racers will do this in about a 2:01, about the 2:01 2-minute range for the true aliens on Racing Soft. So about 8 seconds slower a lap in this N400 street car, but not slow by any means. Doug killing it. Hair Raiser also seems to be doing a pretty good job lapping slower than Doug. However, we see a bunch of 210s. He did dip into a 2:09 a couple laps ago in lap 4. I wonder if he's going to find that magic again because, I mean, Doug's putting together 2:09s and dipping into the 2:08s at times. He's got the fastest lap 4, with a 2:08.2. And no one has come close to that so far that I can see. Let's see. Supra is doing 2:11s. Lap 3 was his best with a 2:10. Jack Mia 2:11 to 2:13 at one point. I think that was when he got hit. I remember that lap. 2:10 flat being his best. Rasta doing a 2:12 for his best. Barr 2:11 so far on his best. And Happy Pappy 2:13. Really putting together 2:15s and 2:16s the last couple of laps. I think that tire wear may be starting to get to him. It shouldn't be. It's not that bad. It's definitely not 2 seconds worth bad, so maybe he can figure the car back out here. 750 just pulled out a 212 this last lap. That was his absolute best so far. But before that, 214, 219, 222. So pretty inconsistent for 750, unfortunately. And Type R bringing up the rear. Looks like he lost 750 probably in that last lap. It was a 217. Just did a 215 and a half, though, for his fastest lap. So Doug, our leader, is into the pits, as is Hair Razor. I knew we'd start to see them within the next 5 minutes. We are at the 15-minute mark, so about the halfway point of this race. So I expect to see most people come in, if not all. That's right. Here's Supra in third place. He's in. Jack Mia is going to stay out. He inherits first for the moment. Is Doug taking fuel? I don't think so. It just looked like that was a little bit of a slow stop there. No, we are taking fuel. Makes sense. You use a little bit more than half a tank for that first stint there. And Supra is the only one still in the pits. Why is Supra still in the pits? That's a lot of fuel to take. But Supra ends up coming out pretty late in comparison to the other two, I think. Happy Pappy. It's going to be our final pit stop for this lap. So our new order right now is Jack Mia in first. Again, that's his current track position, but not truly his position in the race, as he does owe a pit stop. And I don't think he's got enough of a gap to Doug to take that pit stop and keep first. Yeah, no, it's a 4-second gap to Doug. You can see that right here, time gap. This column is what I'm looking at. And Jack Mia to Doug, 4 seconds. It's not enough. And we know Doug is very fast around here. So Jack Mia is gonna lose positions when he pits, and that's fine. Doug comes out in second. Rasta stayed out and is in third place and is gonna need to pit. Bar also stayed out and is behind Rasta, still battling. I'm guessing these two will pit sometime soon, probably this lap here. Hair Razor, meanwhile, is sitting in fifth place. Given that Jack Mia, Rasta, and Bar owe pit stops, though, Hair Razor is really in second. 750 has also stayed out, is in sixth place. Superboy did pit and is in seventh, so really in third, given the people who owe pits. And Type R stayed out. Happy Pappy went in and pitted and is, swinging that booty around. What was that? The Dipper? Yeah. I think at this point, it's pretty predictable that the Dipper is catching people out. The S's, period, are catching people out. We've seen a few people into the wall. We've seen some people just kind of swing and barely avoid the wall. I think braking a bit earlier, just going a little bit slower through there, may be worth it, so as not to disturb the rear end of the car too much. I'm guessing that, one, you're facing downhill, right? Second, you are braking, you're slowing down through a lot of the S's, and so you're now dipping the weight to the front of the car a lot, right? Gravity is doing it because you're already going downhill, and you're artificially doing it by braking, which pushes all the weight of the car to the front, and that unloads the rear suspension, and puts it in the air. And what have you got sitting on that rear suspension? Your entire engine. Your 4-liter, 6-cylinder boxer is back there, and that's a lot of weight, and it wants to come to the front of the car because everything's getting thrown to the front of the car. And I think that's what's happening to people in the S's, in the Dipper. Let's see Doug go through it right here. Yep, on the brakes there, and on the brakes, doing a pretty good job of braking in straight lines as much as possible. That's really what it takes when you're driving these Porsches. You want to brake in a straight line as much as possible, but you have to be even more cognizant of that when you've got a lot going on, when you're not only doing a lot of braking, you're also taking a lot of direction changes, and you're going downhill. And as I said, because these cars are on racing softs, it's a very sticky tire, and the suspension, you can't tune the suspension in the game to be stiff enough to mitigate the body roll and body movement caused by that super soft tire. And so you're getting a lot more weight transfer on the brakes and in turning than you would expect. So you technically have more grip because you have a stickier tire. However, you're throwing the weight of the car around a lot more when the tire is too sticky for the suspension. It's something you run into a lot with like vintage race cars. You know, the tires that they were tuned for, the tires they were built for, are old technology. They're not nearly as grippy as the tires that are available today. And so sometimes you'll hear vintage racers complaining about the same thing. Like, the car is great, it just doesn't feel great on this tire. That's kind of what they mean. They mean, you know, it's making the car roll around and move its weight around a lot more than they were used to. Rasta, 200th of a second penalty. That'll be easily gotten rid of. What is our current order? Everyone has pitted. So let's take a look. Doug, almost lost it coming out of the cutting there, but got it together. Please, computer, stop making noises. You're bothering my viewers. Sorry, y'all. Hey, Doug. Good to see you. We're just talking about you. Doug still up front. Barr in second place because he hasn't pitted yet, actually. So Barr still needing to pit. Those softs are getting kind of worn, but he is running through that fuel, so the car's pretty light as well. But he's probably going to take a pit stop sometime soon, as we're 21 minutes into the race, and it's a 30-minute race, and he has to at some point. Hair Razor is just behind. Hair Razor's been sitting in second place for most of the race, all of the race actually, and is probably about to take it from Barr here as they come through the elbow. He's getting even closer in the braking and should have a good slipstream. Barr probably won't fight it. We won't stay to find out. Supra in fourth place. Ooh, having a lot of trouble after the S's, but got it together there in time for the elbow. Let's see. Jack Mia, more penalty. No, Jack Mia did not have penalty when I first looked, but Jack Mia behind him in fifth place. Jack pitted, right? Yes, Jack did pit. Rasta Business in sixth has pitted. Type R still hasn't pitted, so he also owes a stop. 750 has stopped, and Happy Pappy stopped on the first pit lap with everyone else at minute 15. Here's Barr now gonna go in. Ooh, I love the team fits. It's giving late 80s, early 90s, right? We got neon pink. I love it. I'm into it. Keep that. Neon pink on purple. Rasta into Murray. Perfect corner. Hits that apex really nicely. Comes out, uses all of the track. Nice job. It's harder than you think, right? It's a 90-degree corner. It seems pretty straightforward, but that downhill braking will get you, and the inside of the corner is actually pretty slippery. Murray can be very scary if you get on the gas too soon. It's surprisingly slippery at the apex, and so it makes the corner not as simple as it would look. Turn 1 as well. Turn 1 is also a 90-degree corner, hell corner here, but it's interesting. I prefer to apex it kind of late. It looks like Happy Pappy does that as well. You got some runoff on the right-hand side that you can use there too. But don't let it lull you into thinking that you have plenty of space. You do not. The runoff runs out very quickly, and then it's just grass, and then you're in the wall. You're in the wall on the left. Again, ask me how I know. I know because I love Bathurst, and I'm here a lot, and I make all the basic mistakes a lot. I think at this point, I don't want to jinx it. Doug goes fastest in that sector, by the way. The second to last sector. Let's see if this is the fastest lap. It might be. We've got less fuel in the car, fresh tires, less fuel than what he had in lap 4 when he did his the previous fastest lap. So it wouldn't surprise me to learn that this is a new fastest here. Let's find out. He's about to cross the line. And boop. Yes, purple lap by some bit. It didn't update the lap time yet, but we can take a look right here. Best lap 207.999 for Doug. So purple sector 3 and sector 4. A purple sector indicates that you did the fastest time in that sector, by the way. A green sector means you did faster than you usually do. I don't think it'll show red here, but typically red means you did slower than you're normally doing. So I think it just shows white in this section for some reason. That's weird. But yeah, purple sectors are good things. Purple is good, okay? For anyone who is new to race timing and lap timing. If you look, I can't show my cursor, or I can't, yes I can, there we go. It wasn't moving before. So if you look here, if you see somebody's got a blue lap, it means that's their personal fastest. It's not the fastest, but that is their personal best. Super just put his down, a 209.8. Everyone's car should be faster now that everyone is pitted and is holding on to less fuel. Bar, yes, did pits, got a quarter tank of gas in that Porsche to take him to the end of the race, which happens in about 4.5 minutes here. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate you. The second race should be a lot of fun because it is a shorter sprint race. Yeah. Should be very interesting. To be fair, I don't know if I've ever watched a sprint race at Bathurst. I love endurance racing here. I love the 12 hours of Bathurst so much. That race is really insane and has way too many cars for the track, but it's fantastic. It's one of the what's great about it is the sheer number of classes in the race. I don't even know how many classes of cars are in it, but there's a lot. You know, GT3 cars are the absolute top class in the 12 hours of Bathurst, and it goes down to stuff that's like basically a street car, right? It's very much like the Nürburgring 24 and the VLN series that feeds into the Nürburgring 24, where you have cars of an insane caliber on the track at the same time as like a Mark 1 GTI, right? Like just a little Golf GTI hatchback will also be in the race at the same time. It's fantastic to see and fantastic to experience. So if you've never watched any of those races, check them out. Check out the Nürburgring or check out just the VLN race. Those races are only 3 hours at the Nürburgring and have huge grids. Check out the 12 hours of Bathurst. Happens every year around January or February. They're really great races to watch on really great tracks. Bathurst can sometimes be annoying because it is pretty narrow. It doesn't look it with these street cars here, but it's pretty narrow, especially as you get into the S's. And it's a street course. Basically, it's a street course that happens to be in the country, so it doesn't look like a lot of the city courses that we're used to. But these are public roads. Conrad Straight, if you pay attention, here, we're going to go on board with Doug here. If you pay attention, these are people's homes. These are driveways, right? This is a street course, and so it's pretty narrow. As you can see, there's very little between you and the wall. And so when cars crash around here during a big GT3 race, it often just clogs up the whole track. It's very often a long yellow flag, if not a red flag, because there's just no space to get around if a car is off or stuck. Let's see. Rasta in the S's here. Look at this. Now, imagine an Audi GT3 crashes and just ends up sideways in there. No one's going through. It's a red flag. It happens. No shade to the Audi GT3s, but all shade to the Audi GT3s because I don't know why, but it usually be them. Anyway, we are almost done with this race, y'all. We're at minute 29. We're about to hit minute 29, and I feel like our finishing order... Oh, you know what? It's not live. I can't jinx it. So I think our finishing order is set in stone. I didn't want to say that, but it's not a live race. So whatever happened has already happened. Doug coming up the climb, doing the climb rather, up the mountain here. This is one of the best sections of racetrack in the world. It's just fast. It is not all throttle. You're not flat out through it in these cars by any means. It's still challenging. You still have to lift, but there's no braking. You are just climbing this mountain as fast as possible, and then there's a sudden drop through the S's, and this drop as we head into the Falcon Elbow. As you can see, an even further dip. The profile is almost as deep a drop as the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. It's not quite as dramatic an elevation change though, and as you can see, Conrad starts out pretty downhill, goes up a little bit, just kind of evens out as you are now down off the mountain, headed into the chase. Hard on the brakes there. Good job by Doug to use up all of the track. That is, I think, the difficulty of that corner, and I think there's not any action, so I have leeway to do this. So the difficulty of this corner is judging the right time to brake, the right amount to brake. You use these sponsorship signs on the right here. Do not trust. I just rewinded. I'm gonna pause and show you what I mean, okay? Especially when you're racing here, you know, in this actual game. Don't trust those braking markers, the 200 board, the 150, blah blah blah. Listen, it's a miracle that they're still here right now. Okay, we've had 30 minutes of racing here, and somehow nobody has taken those out yet. But it only takes one car to dip a wheel in the grass and take every last one of those out, and then you're not going to know when to brake for this corner. Look at the sign event signs. That advertising is how you set your braking for this corner, and you do need to set your braking point for this corner. You need to know when you're going to brake, because if you get it wrong, it's catastrophic. So yeah, figure out your braking point here with depending on the car and the tire that you're on, and then you need to adjust for slipstream, because a lot of times you're following another car through here and you can't brake at the same time, at the same point. Conrad is so long, you're going to have slipstream for so long that you'll be going a good 10 mile an hour faster than you expect, and so you can't brake at the same point. Okay, I'm done preaching. I'm done preaching about the cutting. It's just difficult. But Doug pulls it off perfectly. As you can see, boom, clips the apex, boom, outside of the corner, boom, heads to the Armor All Bridge, uses all of the track. Perfect, well done. And into Murray's for the final time. He's going to take the checkered flag here. The winner, undisputed, at no point was Doug ever in second place in this race. Mount Panorama, Bathurst, that's the end of that race. Gets the fastest lap as he crosses the line. In fact, that makes sense. These cars should be getting quicker. Hair Razor coming in with no fuel left almost. That is correct. Looks like his race engineers calculated the fuel to a T. Love that. Supra will come into third. Good job by Supra. He was battling Barr for third at the beginning of the race. Ends up keeping it. Whoa! And Murray's happened. We talked about Murray's corner being more difficult than you think. Supra manages to hold on to it. It still crossed the line. I was very lucky. Just a little bit of poop, though. A little bit of poop. Barr into fourth. Nice recovery to gain fourth place. That late pit stop. Jack Mia is going to take fifth place. And then here comes 750 coming out of the chase to probably take sixth. I mean, Rasta's not too far behind, but I don't think Jack Mia can mess it up that bad, right? Nope, gets through Murray's just fine and is going to take the flag for sixth. There is Rasta in the background crossing for seventh. Happy Pappy is gonna get to take eighth. Ooh, a little bit too much apex there, but he figured it out. And the race has ended for Type R, figuring that he's not gonna cross the line in time for the timer. But that is race one. Man, I'm glad I read out the order, because it did not even stay around for me to see the order for y'all. Ooh, all right. Well, I missed Jack's messed up. Ooh, was it a really bad one? Listen, It happens. It happens. That was round 1. So the second race is 20 minutes versus 30. It's a sprint race, and so doesn't require a pit stop. That is typical. That's what we mean by a sprint race. A sprint race is the opposite of an endurance. You don't need to pit. It's very quick, and it's just go as fast as you can. There's no strategy outside of going fast and gaining positions. So very fun race format for its own purposes, or in its own right, rather. And it's reversed grid. So reverse grid means the finishing order of the last race is now reversed. So Doug will be starting in last place. Type R will be starting in first place. I love reverse grid races. When I do lobbies, I always do reverse grid. Because it's a challenge. Now you can't just run away from the start of the race because you were fastest, right? You were in first and you didn't have anyone to challenge you. Now you have to fight through the traffic and get back up there if you want to win the race. And that is a whole new challenge, especially at a track like Bathurst, where passing isn't always easy. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this one. And I'm going to take a sip of water while we do that, so I'm on mute. Stop it. Oh yeah, there is success ballast. I actually I meant to ask about that. So is success ballast added during a round? Like if you win round 1, race 1, do you have success ballast for round 1, race 2, or do we wait until round 2? Yes. Okay, so the first option. So yes, you have to take success ballast for the second race. Interesting. So, for those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, success ballast. Well, ballast. Hello, game. Let me pause. Let me pause. Why do you do this every time? You're awful. Hang on. We're gonna pause. Happy Pappy is in first. Here. But I think it should be type R. But anyway. Whatever. Ballast is weight added to your car. So that's what ballast is. That's the basic definition. Success ballast is weight that's added as a penalty for your success. No, it's not a penalty. It's just to make things a bit more even, right? So if you get first place in a race, I'm trying to think what real world series use success ballast. It's been a while since I've watched one that does. For some reason, I feel like DTM does, but I think that's wrong. I think World Challenge does, or at least they used to. I'm too rusty. I have no idea. I have no idea what real world series adds success ballast anymore. But it's a fun concept. So basically, the better you do, the more weight you put on your car. In this instance, Doug got first place, so he's going to have to British touring cars. Okay, thank you. BTCC uses success ballast. So what are the cars? I know it's a custom balance of performance. You created the balance of performance. What is the base weight for these? It's the minimum weight, if I understand. Like, what is the minimum weight on these cars? Percent wise. Okay, 1,235 kilograms. I don't know what that is in freedom units, but I'm fine with metric. 87%. Okay, so that's 87% of the weight of the car. Obviously, the full weight of the car is 100%. For first place, Doug now has to rock 93% of the weight of the car. Second place has to rock 92%. Third is 91%. Fourth, 90%. Fifth, 89% of the weight of the car. Just the first 5 have to put on success ballast. 6th through 9th, or 6th through whatever it would be, do not have to put on any ballast, and so stay at that minimum weight of 87% of the full weight of this car. So 87% of 1,235 kilograms. All right, we got it now. So that means Happy Pap. I'm sorry, not Happy Pappy. Doug. Blah, 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 blah. Who came in second? Hair Razor, Supra, Bar, and Jack Mia are all carrying more weight in this race than they were carrying in the last race, and everyone else is still carrying only 87%. Okay, I took forever to explain that. Let's get started. We're looking at another standing start here. We are going to look at it from Happy Pappy's perspective. Ooh, 750 with a really slow start, and it costs him everything. He ends up in last place, I think, after that start. I want to see that again. I don't know what happened. He just didn't react. Why can't I get to him? There we go. Yeah, just a super late reaction by him there. Type R takes first place away from Pappy. Not by a lot, just a little nose. Had the inside for turn 1, but Happy's got the inside for turn 2. Wow, side by side for the first 4. Bar in 5th place, waiting to see if something's going to happen to any of these 4 here. And we're going to see from his perspective what that first corner looks like. 3 wide. Rasta ends up touching the wall. Has to go way outside in that dirty stuff. That puts Bar in 3rd place alongside Jack Mia. Going to the outside around Jack Mia, headed into the cutting, but it's dirty out there, and he ends up sliding a little bit. Has to hold on to 3rd place. Just to the left, here comes what Doug already up into 3rd, 4th rather, fighting for 3rd from last place. No, I got to see Doug's progression through this from last to 4th in turn 1. I promise I won't rewind again, at least not to the start, but I have to see how he did this. Gets past 750. Obviously, you had that late start. There's a nice over-under move there on Hair Razor for 7th place. Just gets underneath him into the apex of turn 1 there. And now he's up into 7th. Got a good slipstream. I think he made all those moves in turn 2 here. Quarry Bend. Yup. Inside of Super. Actually doesn't make the pass there, but gets past Jack Mia to the left. Type R is also going to get past around the outside. Ooh, and inside. Nice slide inside of Supra, who goes wide into the cutting, and that puts him into 4th place, touching Bar by the time we start climbing the mountain. And that's Doug's progression from last to 4th in 3 corners. You love to see it. What have we got going on there? Happy held on to 1st place up the hill. Jack Mia is in the 2nd behind him, as we saw Type R was getting passed for 5th back there. Rather. Bar still holding on to 3rd place. Nice job there. Doug Barrow hang on behind him, probably just staying patient for the straight. Ooh, some bumping into Falcon here. So everyone is pretty close and braking at slightly different times. None the worse for the wear for most people. Hair Razor still sitting in 7th place, followed by 750 and Type R not too far behind. Someone dipping a wheel on the grass there. Pretty dangerous in Conrad, but it doesn't necessarily spell death since you're going in a straight line. But sometimes, every now and then, you touch that grass and it... Ugh. Rasta does not get the cutting right. Let's see what happened to him there. I don't think there was a touch. I think he just misses his braking. Yeah, when did he brake? That seems very late, unless I just couldn't see the taillights well. That was Rasta touching the grass, by the way, that we had seen earlier. Made that dust trail. I think he doesn't brake until 50 meters, which is way too late. No, he brakes just before 100. It's just not enough. And he, yeah, ends up in the grass there. Sometimes not ending up all the way out in that kitty litter right there, that sand trap. Sometimes it's worse to not end up in the sand trap. The sand trap can slow you down just enough that you can continue going. But as you saw, what happened to Rasta there is that he never gets into the sand trap. He just ends up in the grass, which does not slow you down very much at all. And he ends up spinning and is backwards on the track, which is much slower to recover from. Happy Pappy still leading into lap 2. Still has Jack Mia just behind. Superboy behind him. Doug is now into 4th place. Bar is into 5th, rather. Is what I should say. It doesn't look like Doug gained a position. It looks like Bar lost one. What's happened here? That is Bar also getting it wrong into the cutting, and fared much better than Rasta, but we missed it. I was so busy looking at Rasta, I didn't even realize that Bar ended up in there too. So he ends up in 4th place behind Doug. So Doug continues the march for 1st. I think Doug has the pace, but it's not easy to pass around here. Anywhere other than in the straights, really. So unless you've got a really good slipstream and can make that pass happen while you're on the straight, you've got to make it happen in one of the many difficult corners around this track. I think that is the thing that makes Bathurst technical, is that while it is very much a high-speed track, and while there is a lot of straight, none of the corners are simple. They're not necessarily easy. They're more difficult than you would expect because most of the corners also have an element of elevation change to them. They're not just like straightforward left, right. They're left and I'm also going to drop 15 feet. They're right and I'm going to climb 15 feet. It's a street course, so the track isn't necessarily the smoothest, right? Because it's not. It's a paved public road. Stuff happens. So it's also a little bit bumpy in places, and that's what makes it so challenging. We talked about turns 1 and 2. Sorry, turn 1 and the last turn. Murray's the last one, and Hell Corner the first one. We talked about how they're just 90-degree lefts, and yet somehow they're difficult to get exactly right. That's what I mean about Bathurst. It's just nothing is what it seems. Check out this line. 1st through 5th, mobbing down Conrad together. Everybody's got a slipstream. Bar gets the most advantage through that and goes purple in that sector, following Doug Barrow's footsteps here. Everyone gets the braking okay. Some people touch the grass a little bit, but that's okay. Nobody went straight on, which even that isn't easy to do. Ooh, 750 off again in the chase. How did that happen? Looks like he's way off. I think he took way too much apex there. Let's go back again and look at it from here. The curb on the left-hand side there is very aggressive, and I think he just took a lot of it and it threw the car off. It will disturb the car. No, that's actually not what happened. How did that... I don't think he took that much of it. Well, he definitely bumped it. He definitely clipped it quite a bit, and I don't recommend doing that usually, but I don't think that's exactly what threw him off. We're going to take this in slow motion. Slow motion, slow motion. You love it. Kind of starts off in the middle of the track. Definitely not the best line to go through there, but yeah, I think the curb didn't help. Yeah, it kind of pushes him to go straight here. You see him headed straight on. Yeah, okay, it was the curb. My bad. It was definitely the curb. Threw him off. I think he yanked the steering wheel left, yep, to try to make up for that, and he yanked it a little bit too much, and the car is already disturbed. You've just hit a big bump. Your suspension is kind of unloaded, and the back end just came around on him. there. Again, easy to do in a car that's rear engine to begin with. Couple that with a lot of body movement, you're disturbing the car a lot. It's so easy to swing that rear end around on these Porsches if you're not very careful with them. That is Happy sliding into turn 1 because he's being harassed by both Supra and Jack Mia. He's going to go ahead and take a defensive line. I'm loving this battle for first. This is what reverse grid does for you, okay? You've got someone who does not have the pace to keep up with the top drivers, and yet they're in front. They have track position. That's why track position is so important. It's way harder to pass a car, even if you're faster than that car, than it is to defend. And so Happy Pappy has been getting along. We are 2 laps in. We're going deep into the 3rd lap, and he's still in first place, even though literally everybody on his bumper is faster, objectively faster around this track. That's the fun of reverse grid. And they can't be impatient. They can't pass, they can't make a dirty pass. Everyone's got to figure out how to make a clean pass on Happy Pappy here on this very narrow track, while avoiding hitting each other, while avoiding hitting Happy Pappy, while avoiding what's happening to Jack Mia right now in the S's. I think he just lost 2 positions. 1 position. Let's see. Breaks into there, loses the back end a little bit. Bar slides in there, and Jack just barely saves it in time to slide in behind Bar. But yeah, that is reverse grid racing, and it's a lot of fun. Check out Happy. Oh, I love it for him. I love it for Happy right now. Just up front. Now, Super is going to have a pretty good slipstream here. Might have gotten too close to him. In fact, might not have as much slipstream as he would like, but he's going to try to dive inside before this kink. Happy's going to stay outside, which does give him the inside for the cutting. Bar trying to make that pass around the outside and makes it happen, makes it stick. So Bar is the first to get past Happy Pappy. That was actually pretty good. Let me tell you, there is nothing scarier than trying that pass. Trying to go around the outside here is one of the scariest passes that you will ever try in motorsport, because you have to trust that that car on your inside is going to leave you the room, that you're going to brake right, you're going to brake in the correctly to not end up too far off. And I think what happens is Super gets pretty lucky there, and he's able to actually clip the apex and not have to take the whole pass around the outside. Looks like, yeah, Happy Pappy slowed up just enough that Super is able to go inside that turn, because if he would have had to stay outside, I promise he would have been super puckered the entire time. It's so easy to dip one wheel or both outside wheels into the grass there. Doug Barrow gets past Happy into Murray's, and it looks like Bar is trying to as well. Bar is inside of Happy or is going to have the inside for turn 1. Happy is going to stick it around the outside, though, not giving it up easy. A little bit of touch there. That's okay. These are street cars. They're going to move around. Nobody really lost out there. Happy does touch Bar, but Bar ends up with the position. So now Supra, Doug, and Bar are past Happy, and we're going to see a fight for first place between these 3. Doug, looks like Supra has got a pretty good lead on him. What's happening behind? Bar still holding on to 3rd place there. Happy in 4th, has a bit of a gap to Hair Raiser, who has now made it up to 5th after being in 7th for quite a bit. Ooh, Hair Raiser a little bit squirrely coming out of the cutting. Holds on to it, though. He's got Jack Mia chasing behind him. Look at Jack. What's going on, Jack? Jack into the grass almost to try to make that pass, but that messes him up. Yeah, you don't want to touch the grass there. You're going very fast. It will throw you off every time. It will slide you. Yep, that's a slide. He's going to end up just too much speed. Hits too much apex there as well. You want to apex that kind of late, actually, to avoid going straight onto the wall there. But I think he's messed up from just being in the grass. And boom, bop. Done. Loses that position to Hair Raiser. Luckily, he actually ghosted a little bit there, and Hair Raiser was able to go right through. Hair Raiser with a touch on the inside wall. Very easy to do right there at Skyline as well. boy, let me tell you, all these mistakes look very familiar to your girl. She knows about them. Ooh, Supra now has got Doug harassing him. You saw Supra just fighting to keep the car together into the elbow there. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit squirrely into the dipper. It happens, touches the wall a bit, and still doesn't quite have the car together into the elbow. You see a little bit of a rat there. That's an official term, a rat with the front end. Doug gets a lot closer as a result of it and is now squarely in his slipstream going into Conrad. Doug gonna try to make a move here. We'll be outside for the kink, but we'll have the inside for the chase. Can he break later than Supra? They touch. Supra with a wheel into the grass is able to lean on Doug to keep that together. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, sometimes that's just what happens. But this fight between these two is putting Bar in a good position to maybe take a position. I think Supra just lost out on that. That was some good physical racing between the two of these into Murray's. Just a quick rewind there. Yep, Supra tried to squeeze Doug a little bit on the inside there. Doug held onto it, and it threw Supra's car to the outside a bit. He eats a lot of curb on the outside, and now is facing pressure from Bar. Pressure put on, applied, and successful. Bar is now in second place behind Doug and in front of Supra, and these three are going to start another lap of battles. Happy Pappy still in fourth place. Said, all right, fine, I lost out to these three, but Hair Razor, it's going to be a while before you get me. Happy goes purple in the first sector, in fact. Must have got a really good turn one. Looking good for him. Now, remember, Happy Pappy came in last or second to last in the first race, and so he's not carrying any ballast in that car. He's only carrying 87% of the full weight of that car. Meanwhile, Doug is carrying 93%. Bar is carrying, I believe, 91%, coming in fourth. Supra drifting. Bar with a penalty or hit a wall or something. Oh, no. Let's go back. Let's go back and see what happened in all of that. I think Bar touched the wall, ended up ghosting a little bit, and Supra went through him a bit. Not really his fault. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. So check it out. We're going to go back. I'm going to pause. What just happened? Lester rating with 33. Wow. First of all, you are so popular, Lester. Wow. You be having 33 viewers and stuff. Wow. But thank you. Thank you for the raid. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm in the middle of a commentary stream, so this is not live racing, but we are 10 minutes into a 20-minute sprint race. Y'all have come at a good time. Anyway, what I was saying is these three racers are driving with success ballast on. But let's see what just happened to Bar. Because that was very interesting. So we are climbing the mountain. We're coming through Reed Park here. Oh, just gets off the throttle and kind of loses it. The back end swings around a little bit there as he comes into Solomon Park and then hits a lot of curb and goes straight, hits the wall. That ghosted him a little bit. You can see Bar end up inside of him because he's ghosted. We're going to check that out from the outside camera so you can see Bar goes invisible after he hits the wall. This is just bad luck, just something that happens in the game sometimes. Supra ends up inside, but then Bar solidifies, which then makes Supra push him. That pushes Bar into the kitty litter at Skylines, and now he's going to lose 2 positions because of it. That's not really anyone's fault. There was nowhere for Supra to go. Once Bar hit that wall and slowed down a lot in front of him, the game just unghosted him at the wrong time. When you get unghosted, when you're ghosted, you know, cars can drive through you. Once you're unghosted, basically the physics come back. It becomes a touch, and now if the car is inside of you, like Supra was literally, you know, in the whole back half of Bar's car, it treats it like you've just got pushed, like you've been hit. So, man, sad situation there for Bar. We've got 10 minutes left in the race there. It's still just the halfway point. Happy Pappy is starting to get harassed by Hair Razor. Happy Pappy is not carrying any success ballast. Hair Razor is. He came into second place, so his car is carrying 92% of the full weight of the 991 GT3 RS, whereas Happy Pappy's only carrying 87%. And I think that's kind of saving him in some of these corners and in the straights, but I think it's only a matter of time before Hair Razor makes a move happen here, because on sheer pace, he's got better pace. He's doing 211s and 212s. Happy Pappy is pulling 212s, 213s, 215 a couple of laps ago. So at some point here, Hair Razor's going to make a move that might put him in position. Bar in 5th place after that incident, but is in the slipstream and so able to follow Hair Razor and Happy Pappy up the mountain here. What's going on between Doug and Supra? Doug's got a pretty good gap to Supra. It's looking like 1.9 seconds. 2 seconds is the gap between these two. So I think Doug has successfully broken away from the crowd. We'll see how the rest of the race goes with that ballast on the car. One thing about adding weight and ballast in this game in GT Sport is that you can't control where that ballast goes. If I recall correctly, it's been years, so somebody please tell me. In GT6 and GT5, you could not only add ballast, but you could control where you added that ballast. You could add it more front or back. Tell me if I'm thinking about some other game. I know you can do it in Forza. I'm pretty sure you can do it in Forza, but I feel like we could do it in GT5 and 6 as well. In this game, you don't have any control over where the ballast is added. I'm sure it's just centrally added in these cars. I can't imagine that the game automatically adds ballast and biases it front to back or whatever, but it would be really nice in these rear engine cars, especially since we've seen so many people have issues with the back end swinging around and the S's and stuff. It would be really nice to be able to place that ballast to change the balance of the car a little bit. That would add a different element to the racing, I think. But oh well, we don't have that option here. The ballast is where the ballast is. And Happy Pappy sitting in 3rd, Bar in 4th over Hair Razor. What happened there? We're going to go back because I can do that. This is a replay. I can go back and see how Bar made that pass. And nobody can judge me. I think it's... Oh, he did it way back. I may not go back too far. If it's not here... Okay, it's here. Climbing up the mountain. Coming into Reed Park. Oh, yeah. Hair Razor gets squarely there. And Bar takes advantage. Slides in. Nice move for 4th. Trying to climb back up into the order here. Happy Pappy still hanging on to a podium position, by the way, after starting this race in 1st place because he ended the last one. Well, he didn't really end the last one last. It had him in 2nd to last for me. But for some reason, the reverse grid put him in 1st place. So someone tell me how that happened, or if that was a purposeful change. I don't know. Fo Jizzle, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I like your name. Doug, Supra, still separated by a lot. We're not even gonna look at that. That's boring. Happy Pappy still leading this pack. This battle for 3rd. Really, it's a battle for 4th right now. Happy's got a pretty good gap on Bar. Hair Razor's gonna try to get up here. Hair Razor finished the last race in 2nd place, but has had a lot of trouble coming up through the order. The best we've seen from him is up to 4th place at this point, and now he's trying to even get that back. I think the back of the race is seeing some drama too. Yeah, 750 and Type R have been going at it for a while from what I can see, and I haven't paid them any mind, and I feel bad. Ooh, Type R with 2 wheels into the grass. That still shouldn't be a penalty. That is still within the bounds, but not recommended. Very scary place to dip even 1 wheel. He's lucky to have held on to that. I think he had to get off the throttle or stay off the throttle, hold on to that, and you can see that gap to 750 has now grown as a result of it, and he is really now in Jack Mia's clutches. He's not even in that battle with 750 anymore, probably because when he put those wheels in the grass, he had to be very ginger with the throttle. I mean, like that SpongeBob gif where just his big toe is on the gas. That's basically what Type R just had to do. Jack Mia looking up the inside for turn 2 rather, isn't going to be able to really do anything because he's ghosted, but he just got rid of the last of his penalty, so he should be solid. Should be a real car for the rest of that. Ooh, a move inside into the cutting, and we also see Rasta go down. I don't even know what to rewatch. Let's watch Rasta go down. Let's see what happened there. And then we'll watch that pass. Just gets outside in the cutting. It's dirty there. Yep. And then dirty tires, gets on the gas too soon, too hard. Yeah. So right here, you pick up a lot of dust going outside the line there. And then here, gets on the throttle, puts him into the wall because those tires are dirty. Even if your tires aren't dirty, it's very slippery there. I assure you, even if he had never gone outside, getting on the throttle too soon coming out of the cutting is never a good idea. It's very slippery there. So that's what happened there. Now let's watch this pass that Jack Mia puts on Type R in the same place. Basically, we're going to go on board. He's behind Type R and dives inside in the cutting. A little bit of a touch, but again, I mean, it's a very narrow track. We're in street cars. They move around. You're gonna swap paint. I don't see anything dirty about that pass. It didn't throw Type R off of his line. It's just that threw Type R off of his line, though. That's just a really good pass. Type R ends up in last place there. Shall we revisit what just happened to him here? In Griffin's Mount. I think this corner is called Griffin's. Yep. I just kind of did that to himself. It was a thing. Have a good night, Mike. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you watching. You're always around, and I love it. So Type R now in last place after being in a pretty good fight with Jack Mia. Is now fighting no one who's in a battle. We've still got this whole train for third going. This whole battle for third is still led by Happy Pappy, who is surviving on weight advantage and track position alone. At no point has Happy been able to relax in this race. He started it in first place and was getting chased down for a while. Now he's got 4.5 minutes to survive. He just needs to survive 2 more laps to get a podium finish here. Ooh, Bar out into the grass a little bit, followed very closely by Hair Razor. That gives Happy a little bit of breathing room, not a lot, to be honest. Not enough to be significant. Oh, Happy sliding into turn 1, messes it up, ends up in the grass, and now has to settle for 4th place. He is going to tuck into Bar's slipstream, but I think Hair Razor is going to make this pass on the inside anyway. Yep, Happy's down in the 5th. Wow, what bad luck right there. Let's see how that happened. Does he just... Hold on, I'm going to go back further. I want to see his braking. Does he just brake late? Does he touch the grass? I didn't see exactly what got him out of sorts. Brakes late. Brakes at 50. And has to pretty much toss the car into the corner, but... Yeah, that pendulum effect happens. You got really sticky tires. You got all your weight in the back. You have outbraked yourself. The car went back and forth on him, and that is all very slow. You can see Hair Razor very easily didn't even really need a slipstream to make that pass there into turn 2. And now Hair Razor is going to try to get up on Bar. I don't think Happy Pappy is going to be able to make a move on either of these two here. Again, he does have a weight advantage. Both Hair Razor and Bar are carrying success ballast, but Happy has not had the outright pace of these two drivers. So I think that's that for him. Unless one of them makes a mistake. It could happen. It is Bathurst, and we've seen everybody mess up. Here's Supra drifting drifting through McPhillamy. So, you know, mistakes happen, like I said. But he gets it together in time for the S's. Ooh, pretty good run through the S's, in fact. And down into the dipper. Nice job there to keep the car together. Like you said, we've seen a lot of people having issues through there. Barr now up into third place, and he's got a really good gap. Because something happened to Hair Razor. What happened to Hair Razor? The cutting happened to Hair Razor. But I don't think that lost him a position. But he did get out of sorts in there. That brings Happy Pappy a little bit closer, but he must have made another mistake somewhere. Yes, into the grass at Reed Park. And that just gives Happy the position, because now Hair Razor's got to slow down and get out of the grass. And that puts him back into 5th place. It's not been a good race for Hair Razor, huh? Got about 3 minutes left in it, so they're gonna get another lap here, and Hair Razor might still be able to get 4th, but I think Barr is too far ahead at this point for him to get 3rd easily. Barr, in fact, is starting to catch up on Super. I don't know that, I don't know that he has the pace to catch up outright. 2 seconds back, though, but mistakes could happen. So Supra is in sight for Barr, and it's been a while. If we recall, Barr lost out on some positions earlier in the race here. Happy and Razor getting through the chase pretty good. Sorry, excuse me. I'm back. Rasta chilling in last place. Something must have happened to Rasta, because if we recall, Type R was who we had in last. And Rasta's now back there by a lot. Doug still leading things. This, I don't think this will be the last lap. Well, it might be. We've got about 1.5 minutes left. The lap has started. So we'll see when Doug crosses the line. Ooh, Supra sliding into the cutting. That's only going to put Barr even closer. Yes, Barr definitely getting a bit closer. That gap is now 2 seconds versus 2.2. The 2.2 that it was. Not necessarily enough, but you can see Barr is absolutely pushing it and trying to catch up to Super there. We're going to come back in a minute, because we've still got Hair Razor v Happy Pappy here as well. Hair Razor, big mistake going into the braking for the S's, and has to take the escape route. Too much throttle going out of the dipper, and I think that's the end of Hair Razor's fight for now. We probably will still have another lap to go. But I'm going to rewind so we can see what just happened there. Just not a good time. Messing up even in Skyline before the S's. And I think that's probably what started this sequence here. He just never really got the car back settled. Goes through the S's pretty much straight. Gets into the dipper. Dirty tires. Weight transfer. All of that puts him right into the wall. Now he's sitting on a 2/10 second penalty. And has lost a big chunk of time to Happy Pappy, who gets through Falcon very easily. So that battle is done. Let's look at Barr, who is now in Super Slipstream. It's not going to be enough to make a move into the cutting, I don't think. But it's going to put him closer, and we still have another lap to go. Tire wear is starting to be a factor here as well, as you can see. But wow, Barr breaking much deeper into the cutting than Super does. And now is able to just kind of tuck in for a slipstream ride up Mountain Straight. Try something cheeky, just shows the nose into Murray's corner. Doing it again for turn 1. Supra trying to go defensive, realizes the Barr is already there. Barr just goes ahead and makes that pass into turn 1. Isn't going to wait for a slipstream down Mountain Straight. But now Supra has got a slipstream. This is the final lap for them. Everyone behind them is going to take the checker flag. So Happy, Hair Razor, they're done. Happy gets 4th place. Bar and Supra can still make a difference here in the finishing order. They're still fighting for 2nd. Supra tries to dive into turn 2. Bar easily over-unders and gets that position back. Let's watch that back again. I think Bar just maybe outbraked himself. I'm not sure if that was really an attempt at a move here. He just went so far offline. I think he just braked too late. Touches the wall on the outside. Bar takes the line perfectly. Didn't even have to worry about anything there. I think that was just a mistake on Supra's end. It happens, especially in a battle down Mountain Straight. It's so intense. It is so easy to forget to brake there. It sounds stupid, but it's true. It's true. It's very easy to just be like, oh shit, I didn't touch my brakes. And now it's too late. So Bar in 2nd. Supra is too far back to make something happen on his own here. It's gonna be up to Bar to make a mistake to give 2nd place to Supra at this point. There's still a lot of lap left to go. Gets through the S's very well there. Bar's heading into Falcon. Does that pretty conservatively there. Can't even hear the tires. Just brakes perfectly. He knows that he has got 2nd place in the bag. And so it's just going to take it real easy coming into the end of the lap here. Supra is not close enough even for a slipstream. So now Bar, like I said, I'd be tiptoeing around the last couple of corners here. Braking early for the chase. I am braking early for Murray's. And I'm just going to get through it. Touches wheels to the grass on the right hand side there. Doesn't mess him up, luckily. And now it's just this last corner to get through. Back end wants to kind of swing around, didn't completely. He holds on to it. Bar in the 2nd place. That's Doug 1st, Bar 2nd, Supra 3rd. I didn't get to read the rest of the order, and it's not gonna let me see it. But 1, 2, 3 finish for well, some of the top 5. The first order was Doug, followed by Hair Razor, followed by Supra, I believe. Then Bar in the 4th, Jack Me in the 5th. So 3 of the top 5 back in there. From 7th place to 2nd. Nice job, Bar. Nice job indeed. To get back up there. Really good job. I'm going to delete these so while I remember. Just while I remember, because I'm the type to fill up all my space with replays and never delete them. I still got stuff from last season on there. Oops. I don't remember exactly why I'm keeping this replay. I don't need to. Alright. Anyway, we're done. Thank y'all for watching Championship Ballet for round 2, race 1. Yeah. This is going to be really interesting. This is going to be really, really interesting. I hope that everybody who's not that fast on pace does a lot of practicing on defense, because I loved the job that Happy did, at least for the first half of that race. Just keeping everybody behind. More of that. A lot of these drivers are going to develop some really good defensive driving skills, which is awesome. Defending, like I said, is way easier than passing. If you know how to defend, then you're already a brilliant racer. Everybody else going to have to learn to make clean passes around slow drivers. So having a reverse grid element in your championship is also just a great opportunity to make better drivers, period. Championship ballast. Okay. Well, thank you for the good racing, Doug. Good job. Congratulations on winning both races. That's pretty awesome. Not easy to do for sure, and it wasn't easy for you. As we saw the first half of the race, you were struggling to get past Happy Pappy there. I guess we're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I think I'm gonna stream tomorrow night. as well. I've been on vacation for a while. I'm normally not scheduled to stream on Thursdays, so I can't really promise it. I have a lot of work to do, but because I've been on vacation, I know I haven't been streaming much. This is my first one in like 2 weeks. I'm going to try to jump on here tomorrow night by 10 p.m. If you don't see me, don't hate me though. Thank y'all. Bye-bye. Mm-hmm.